In this video, we are going to solve a polynomial equation. So our first step, even though they don't ask us to, is to list our potential rational zeros. Now, before we do that, notice that our terms are not in order. So you always want to have your terms in order from highest power down to your lowest power, so that you can list correct potential zeros, as well as when you get to the synthetic division, you'll already have them in order. So remember, our potential rational zeros come from your positive and negative factors of, first, your constant. So my constant in this case is 5. Those are the p-values. So factors of 5 are both 1 and 5. And then q values come from this leading coefficient, which is a 3. So factors of 3 are both 1 and 3. Now, if I combine factors on top with factors on bottom, so I'll first put everything over 1. 1 over 1 just gives me 1. Don't forget the plus or minus. And then 1 over 3 gives me a third. And then if I go back, actually I took the 1 on top over each. Now if I go back and put the 5 over the 1 would give me 5. And then 5 over 3 would give me 5/3. So those are my potential rational zeros. Okay, so at this step, we will look at a graph to see if we can identify at least one zero from our list. And so you'll notice there are no definite integer values in that list. So what we have to do instead is look at some of our potential fractions. Now notice if this is 2 here, this would be 1. And so if I think about this particular fraction, that would be, in terms of a mixed number, that would be 1 2/3. Whereas I've got this other fraction that is 1/3. And so it appears that if I'm looking here, based on my list, that is possibly the solution 1/3. Now the way I'll know for sure is I will carry out my synthetic division, and if my last column has a remainder of 0, then I'll know for sure I found an actual 0. So we'll put the 1/3 in the box. We're going to bring our coefficients down from here because the terms had to be in order. So we have a 3 followed by a coefficient of -1, and then -15 and +5. When I carry out my synthetic division, I'm bringing the 3 straight down. 3 times 1/3 is 1. And when I add, I get 0. 0 times 1/3 is 0. When I add, I get -15. And -15 times 1/3 is -5. So when I do add, I get 0. That tells me definitely that x equal 1/3 is a solution. And then if I look at my depressed polynomial at this point, if I started out with x cubed up here, then this is now 3x squared. The 0 would be the coefficient of x, and the -15 would be your constant. So if you take that depressed polynomial and set it equal to 0, then you can solve to find your other zeros. I would add 15 to both sides. So 3x squared is equal to 15. And then I would divide both sides by 3. So in that case, x squared is 5. Now to go from x squared to just x, we actually take the square root of both sides. And anytime you do that, you have to consider both the positive and negative case. So we get 2 solutions here. We get a positive square root of 5, and we get a negative square root of 5. Now you will notice those are not numbers in our list. And the reason they're not in our list is because our list only consists of possible rational solutions. Square root of 5 is known as an irrational number, so it's not in our list. It's definitely on the graph. If you look at the decimal, it's approximately 2.2. So this would be the solution positive square root of 5. And then over here, this would be the solution negative square root of 5. So our 3 solutions to this particular polynomial are 1/3, positive square root of 5, and negative square root of 5.